this morning, right?
Yes.
And I hope that was the most stressful thing I'll have today. Getting my screen shared. We use Teams meetings at Medica, and so in the past we have used Zoom, and every time I have to go to one of the other ones, but we really appreciate the opportunity to visit with you this morning. And grateful that you've been willing to invest a few minutes in listening to what we have to say. And it seems like most of the meetings I do with our members, we're talking about deductibles, co-pays, provider networks, and those things are all great. If you have an illness or an injury, deductibles and co-pays are pretty important. So we're happy to provide that health insurance benefit for you. But I'll have to confess, I do enjoy a little more talking about some of the extra benefits that we make available to Medica members. And we have a lot of great benefits available to you. And I know, Nicole, you just said something about My Health Rewards. Great benefit. I hope you all are taking advantage of that. We have a brand new benefit that's available to you at Medica. We call these value added benefits. So these are benefits that you get as a Medica member in addition to your healthcare coverage. And boy, we offer a lot of things that do provide great benefit for you. Unfortunately, a lot of them are underutilized. And so I hope after spending a few minutes talking about Calm Health, our latest value added benefit, that most of you will at least take a couple minutes to check it out. This really is a great benefit. I think it was actually just a couple days before the first of the year, this was rolled out to our members. So still pretty brand new. Calm Health, what is it? In the little green box there, it tells us that Calm Health is a digital behavioral health resource. And I think that's a pretty good description. I can't improve on it, so I'm just going to read it off, off the slide there. Some of you may be familiar with Calm. Calm does a lot of the same things as Calm Health. I'll tell you, Calm Health offers a few things that you don't get with Calm. So if you are currently using Calm as a Medica member, you now have access to Calm Health. So make sure that you don't just assume that you're getting everything you need from Calm. Go ahead and check out Calm Health. And so what we'll keep drilling down as we go through the slides. What does it do for you? It is not just a one size fits all app or resource where everybody is going to get offered the same things. We're going to treat everybody the same. With Calm, well, and I'm going to back up a little bit. The last slide in our presentation talks about how to get logged in, and I'm really thankful that I can tell you it's a pretty easy process if you just remember a couple key things. But getting signed up is pretty easy. And I will say, and this is the truth. When I signed up for Calm, you get logged in, and it's not just a screen that you're looking at with words that you read. Someone comes on, there's a recording of I don't know if it's the same for everybody. When I logged in, it was a woman that was explaining to me what Calm Health is, what it has to offer me, and what they hope that they can do to help me out. And just listening to that introduction, I felt calm just listening to it. So they started me on my personalized trip through the Calm Health resource with that video. And you do go through a series of different people that are explaining to you what is available to you through Calm Health. And one of them, I'm not sure if it was a British or an Australian accent. What's more calming than a British accent, right? So you get a really nice overview of what Calm has to offer before you even get into the under personalized plans. The first thing it mentions there is a quick screening. And if you've used My Health Rewards, you know it's not a requirement, but you are encouraged to take a health assessment when you go through My Health Rewards. And it's pretty simple. I try to remember to do it every year, and it's just clicking on answers to different questions related to your health. But it takes 10, maybe 15 minutes tops, so not real difficult to do. But with Calm, I'm prepared. Okay, I'm investing 10 minutes in this quick screening, and it was 4 questions long. So the screening is really easy, and then based on your responses to those screening questions, you'll get pointed towards things that will be most beneficial for you. The middle box here on this slide talks about mental and physical health. So Calm Health is a digital behavioral health resource, but they are upfront about how our mental health, our behavioral health, and our physical health are really tied together. So if I'm having a physical health issue, there's a pretty good chance that's going to have an impact on my mental health, and vice versa. If I'm having mental health issues, I'm probably not as likely to take care of my physical well-being. So that's great right off the top, identifying that. So it is a behavioral health resource, but kind of running alongside the behavioral health help. It's also going to help you identify physical issues that are impacting your behavioral health. And important thing, the last little box on the right side of this slide, you get Calm Health for free. So that relieve stress and not having to pay for something? I love free things. And this is important, like I mentioned, if you are currently using Calm, if you are using that on your own, you're probably paying something for Calm. Getting Calm Health, you'll receive everything that someone who's currently using Calm would get, plus a little more, and you don't have to pay for it. I've noticed the last couple weeks on the radio, I keep hearing ads for one of Calm's competitors talking about how they can help you get better sleep. And I'm sure they have some good tools, but at the end of that ad, they always mention that if you log in, sign up, it'll tell you what you have to pay for it. For Medica members with Calm Health, what you pay for it is zero. So as with most of our benefits, if you're a Medica member, you get this for no additional cost. More specifically, what can Calm Health do for you? So working down the left side of this slide, the short screenings help you customize your experience. Like I said, this screening will literally take you less than 60 seconds. You'll be pointed towards evidence-based programs, so it's not something that I developed for you. These are professional psychologists that have developed the programs that you'll have access to. We're really happy to say that with Calm, it's the #1 rated app for helping people use meditation and helping them get better sleep. So those ads that I've been hearing on the radio that tell people they have to pay to use their app, not only do you not have to pay, you're going to get better resources than what those people are paying for. And then the personalized recommendations, again, really great that this is not a one size fits all resource for you. It's going to take into account, based on what you put on that screening, where are your areas of need? And then you can indicate, well, what am I interested in working on? I think probably a lot of us have heard, just for example, I know for years at Medica, we still offer it. If you're a smoker and you want to quit smoking, we'll help you out with that. But if someone is a smoker and they have no interest in quitting smoking, don't force that on them. Give them options of other things they can work on. And on the right side of the screen there, it mentions some of the issues or challenges that people might be dealing with that Calm can help you resolve or at least manage better. And how does it work? So this is just kind of a visual showing you what you're going to see when you're logged into the app. So that number one on the far left, the screen, just this is what, this is actually what you'll see after you take the screening, but super easy, pretty high level, 4 questions that get you through that screening. And then Calm will recommend different things that might be helpful for you. So I don't know, depending on the screen you're on, if you can read all of this, but the clinical recommendations, that top one is building stress resilience. Great thing for a lot of us to work on. And then underneath that, finding a mental health provider. So if you're like me, I know it was at least 3 or 4 things to choose from. I chose getting better sleep. I typically sleep pretty well, but you know what? This week, probably a lot of us following up daylight savings. I thought I'm kind of tired right now, and I'd be willing to accept some advice or look at some resources for getting better sleep. So that's the one that I chose. On the screen here, we chose build stress resilience. So then you engage, play the trailer. If you can see that button, it'll tell you, here's what you're getting into. So if you look at that and say, not interested, you can move on to the second or third option. And then if you join the program, most of them are going to be just a series of short videos. So probably between 2-5 minutes. So it's not going to be something that you have to take half a day PTO to get through. They're pretty easy to work through and great, really practical information. And then every couple weeks, you'll be asked to rescreen. So kind of a chance for you to just touch base again. I establish my baseline with that first screening. After a couple weeks, how am I feeling now? Am I making improvement? Do I have more things on my plate that I'm dealing with? So doing that rescreening gives you a chance to reset every couple weeks. What are some of the more specific resources that you'll have access to? So I kind of like to take time to work through all of these. We don't have that much time, and I want to make sure we save a little time at the end for questions. I'll tell you, I'm really interested in hearing what your questions are because this is a new resource. I haven't had an opportunity to hear people's questions, so we'll welcome those, and hopefully we can answer most of them today, or many of them anyway. And if we can't get to them today, we'll follow up and get you answers. But breathing techniques, I think probably a lot of us are aware that sometimes, if I do get stressed out, like if I can't share my screen, your breathing gets kind of shallow. Just breathing correctly can help reduce stress. Meditations, you'll be given lots of different options for meditation. So some of them might be just a quick, maybe a 30-second meditation. And if you want to do something, I'd like to take a half hour before I go to bed or something like that. You'll have lots of different options for different meditations. The sleep stories, a couple things about this really interested me. Number one, good sleep. I'm interested in that. I thought it was kind of funny. So my wife and I will have been married 40 years in June. And she's been telling me for years, I have to have something on the radio when I go to bed. So, back in the old days, I'd say, well, if you need something on the radio, especially if the Twins were playing out on the West Coast, well, let's just listen to the Twins game. I'll enjoy the Twins game. It'll help you get to sleep. And she said, no, I need something other than a baseball game. So it was usually talk radio or something. She did not want music. And I always thought, come on, if you can't, if if you've been around a while and remember Herb Carneal, the great Twins radio announcer, if you can't fall asleep to Herb Carneal, come on. But the sleep stories are really designed. They flow in a way that helps you fall asleep. And again, I don't know how depending on the screen you're on, maybe you can see, for example, that first one. Kevin Bacon reads the sleep story, the Dreamboat. Come on, I think I could fall asleep to Kevin Bacon reading the Dreamboat. So they have legit. It's again, you're not going to get me reading you sleep stories. It's going to be someone like Kevin Bacon. So great resource. Music that does work for people to calm them down. Maybe for a lot of us, that does help us fall asleep. Resources for work-life balance. That's a great one. I bet for sure the majority of us, there's at least room for improvement. So even, I feel like I've got pretty good work-life balance, but I'm sure there are a few things I could be doing better that would improve my work-life balance. The soundscapes, nice, just background noise. So maybe that's when you're trying to fall asleep. Maybe it's just when you're working, if you've got headphones or if you're working from home or something, just having that in the background. The movement will help you integrate. It could be, one of these other resources that you're listening to, but the movement along with it, again, kind of helps you tie mental and physical together. And this movement, it's not going to be, push-ups or jumping jacks or anything like that. If you can see in the picture, it's more just different poses and slow movements that help with meditations and things like that. And then the daily practices are just things that are going to pop up if you're taking a look at the app every day. So on a variety of different topics, giving you ideas for things you can do to help you out with again managing different situations better than maybe you are right now. And I think the nice thing with those daily practice tips also is, it's important that we set up our Calm app to show us things that we've expressed a specific interest in. But with the daily practices, you might get something that you hadn't even thought about. Oh, yeah, I could use a little help. That's a great idea. So just some ideas for things that you can do kind of across the board to improve your mental or behavioral health. Some more examples of specific circumstances or things that you or maybe even someone might be dealing with. And Calm has programs that address these specific issues. So down the left side, health experiences, anxiety, depression, trauma, PTSD, serious illness like cancer, heart disease, diabetes. Boy, these things all cause stress, right? So examples of things that maybe began with a physical issue, but they have a dramatic impact on our mental health too. So you will find programs or resources in the Calm app that will help you deal with all of these things. And then different life experiences on the right side of the screen. So grief support if you've had some type of loss, mental health for pregnancy and postpartum. Some people have really serious issues with postpartum depression, infertility, support for mothers and caregivers, parenting, lots of different parenting issues. I know from experience that can be stressful. And, I've thought with this isn't in any of the Calm Health material, but just going through some of these lists, I thought, boy, I know just infertility, for example. One of my sons and my daughter-in-law are, really hopeful that they want to start a family and they've had issues. And I thought, you know what, I would love to. So they're not Medica members, unfortunately for them. So they don't have access to it. But I thought I am going to check out some of the things that Calm recommends to help people who are having difficulty starting a family. So think not just about what my needs are. You might be able to help someone you know by looking up some of these tools. So great resource to deal with a pretty wide variety of issues or circumstances. Calm can also be used by your kids. So if you have kids who are 12 years old or older, they can log in on their own. If you have a younger kid, um, you have access to all of this yourself. So it's things, sleep stories, but maybe not Kevin Bacon's dreamboat sleep story. It's going to be something more aimed at kids, and some of it is just music, things that help kids deal with stress. And I always think it's kind of sad. I feel, I'm 61, so I feel like I'm getting old, and maybe there aren't a lot of great things about getting old. But do you know what? I feel like when I was 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, I didn't have the kind of stress. I didn't have to deal with the things that our kids deal with today. So here's something that will help them cope or develop strategies and kind of fun, So just like I said, I'm not the one that's going to read your sleep story. You get an A-lister, Kevin Bacon, doing that, and same thing with the kids' resources. What kids don't like Disney? Or I know one of my kids loved Thomas the Tank Engine, so it would have been pretty easy to get them to invest or take advantage of some of the resources available to our kids through Calm Health. So keep that in mind. Last slide I have is how to access Calm Health. And, again, not to keep going back to my fear of technology, sharing screens, etc. I always think when it's a new app and it's something you have to get started, am I going to be able to figure it out? How easy is it going to be to use? And I'm here to tell you, it was a snap. And I'll also let you know, I use the QR code here, and that kind of lets you skip a couple steps, so makes it even easier than if you like this slide says, you can go to the App Store, Google Play, to set up an account. But if you use that QR code, it's going to recognize you as a Medica member. So it makes it a little easier to log in than if you just went through the App Store or Google Play kind of from the outside. So I'll recommend that. Not necessary, but it does make it a little bit easier. So then you'll want to create the Calm account. If you do log in outside of you don't use the QR code, Medica is your access code, so lowercase. It's important. You will want to make sure you have your member ID card with you because you will be asked for your ID number. And I bet not many of you have your Medica ID number memorized. And also, very important, there's the little asterisk there down at the bottom. You want to make sure that you enter your name exactly how it appears on your Medica ID card. So if you have two names in your last name or in your first name, if that's how it appears on your Medica ID card, make sure that's how you log into Calm. If you have a nickname, your name is shortened or something, just make sure that however it shows up on your ID card, that's how you'll want to enter it when you're logging in to Calm. And that is all that I had right now. And I think we have a couple minutes for questions if you have them.
Hi, Brent. We had a few questions in the chat that haven't been answered yet. Folks were wondering if they already have Calm and now they have the access to Calm Health. Should they be using both apps? I believe they have a little different functionality, so could they find benefit in using both?
They could, and I should have asked this up front. One of our subject matter experts that kind of got me coached up, starting with this. Michelle, are you on the call?
I am Brent.
All right.
I can take that one. I was trying to type, but very slowly here. So the apps are completely separate. So what you might want to do is take a look at both. And if you are paying a subscription fee for the Calm app, you may want to either discontinue paying that and stop using that. You may not want to delete the app, but stop doing the subscription. But check out Calm Health first to make sure it meets your needs, that you don't think you're losing anything. Everything should be in Calm, that's in Calm Health. Calm Health has a few more things like Brent had gone through. So I would recommend, if you're paying a subscription on the Calm and you're okay with moving to Calm Health, that you might want to discontinue that and save some money.
Thank you very much, Michelle. And then also, we've got some questions about dependents. A good question. If I have teenagers who want to use the app, they will use the card holders' insurance card information since that they're the policy holder, correct?
Correct. That is correct. So dependents can go on and register to use as well. They would use their name and date of birth. They have to be at least age 12 and older.
Excellent. Okay, does anyone else have any questions? As long as we're here, you can always email them too. Just feel free to email me and I'll get them to the proper person. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for attending today. And like I said, we will send out that information and 500, their code for your 500 points. And thank you so much, Brent, for all that wonderful information, and you as well, Michelle. So,
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for
thank
the
you, everyone.
opportunity to spend the time with you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.